And we are live. What's going on, Kyle?
What's up, Ricky?
Chilling, man. Chilling, man. I really enjoyed yesterday's conversation on interracial dating, man. It was very, very enlightening.
Yes, it was. It was a good topic.
I got a lot of engagement, and I think today is going to be just as interesting for the most part.
Yes, definitely more controversial.
Yeah, man. So,
Maybe.
yes, it was nice to see that people in the group chose this topic for today. We put the poll up, so this is for you guys, man. And so, with that said, we will be talking about gun control and everything that it entails today. So, welcome to the Daily Chat. Boom. Welcome back to That's So Controversial. I am your man Rick, and this is my man Kyle.
What's up, guys? I'm sorry, I was just already started from the back, and I was reading Show's comment, and she kind of got you word for word there. She kind of got you word for word there.
That is what is up. That's what's up. That's a true fan right there. I appreciate her. Yeah. So if this is your first time watching the show, please consider subscribing to our channel, leaving a like and a comment, and consider joining our Facebook group because we have a lot of engagement there. Well, not a lot, I'm exaggerating, but we have some good engagement there. And this is where we come up with our ideas and we bring them onto the show where we can discuss them. This is an open platform. This is not something where we try to tell you what's right or wrong. We give you our opinion, our experiences, and we want to hear your opinion and your experiences. It is an open platform. Engagement is a plus. We love it. We thrive on it. It's what makes the show rock. So, Kyle, talk to me. What's going on, baby?
Nothing much, bro. This is an interesting topic, man. This gun control topic here we have here. So, how do you feel about it?
I think it's interesting. I mean, I used to own a legal firearm as a person who lived in the state of New York. A lot of people were shocked, because they think that it's a lot harder than it actually is to get a firearm in New York. It's just time consuming, but not difficult at all.
Okay.
More difficult than it is in other states.
Okay, so I guess you are not opposed to having firearms, to the right to bear firearms.
I don't know what side I'm on, to be perfectly honest, because there's so many situations you got to consider, right? It's not just straightforward. What's going on, everybody? Thanks, Motivation Mama. Thanks for joining Showcast. You guys rock. Series regulars over there.
Yes.
How do you feel about it?
I think I kind of agree with you. I think it's a case by case. It's a case by case argument or discussion. We're going to talk about it a little bit later on, but it really kind of depends on where you live too. I think that plays a major part in it. Do you have the right to defend your home and your safety? And then when you live in a more populated area like New York City, is it necessary? Because of the population and how easily NYPD can be dispatched to a location. So it kind of it's a. I don't think it's something you can cover with a one answer. Am I against or am I not against it? But yeah, I just think it's very complex, man. It's a very complex topic. All
right, so let's just jump right into it, man.
Oh, okay. So we usually start with some fun facts. This one not so fun. So we kind of just discussed about state by state, right? So I'm just looking at here a list of, according to bbcnews.com, the worst mass shootings we've had since 1991 to 2017. Unfortunately, these are all sad situations, but these are the numbers. The worst one we've had up to date of 2017 was Las Vegas, Nevada, which there were 58 souls taken. And then we had Florida in 2016, which was 49, and Virginia in 2007, which was 32. We all remember Sandy Hook in Connecticut, which in 2012, which was 27.
Was the Florida one the gay nightclub?
I believe so. Yes,
Yeah, that
I
was
believe
messed
so.
up. That was a hate
Yeah.
crime, right?
Yes, I believe so. But we are not. I don't think we are. Yep, we're not. This is 2017. We've had some more since then. But I
Okay.
don't think any reached the Las Vegas number, which was horrific incident. But yeah, that is some unfortunate stats we have here since from 1991 to 2017 about deaths used in guns.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. So let's get into it, bro. This is a long-winded topic, and let's get right into it. So we already started off. What is actually gun control? What does that mean to you? That terminology, because it's used so much.
Right. I think to me, what it means is like having some kind of legislation that controls a certain aspect of gun ownership
Okay.
for the general public. I don't think it's going to apply obviously to our armed forces or police departments. This is just in reference to us and us owning firearms.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on par with that. I think it's for me it's kind of trying to put a hold or put a kind of like some, like you said, some regulation to the amount of guns we have on our streets and who has the guns and what type of guns. Clearly, we've done a poor job at it, but it is what it is
Right.
right now until we move forward. Until the country gets on one side or another.
Yeah, and it varies state by state. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it is.
There's no uniformity.
Yeah. But again, I understand the fact that it's not uniform because every situation is different, every state is different. But some of those laws that kind of we talked in pre-production here, it's just out of control. It's literally out of control, like the Wild Wild West. But let's go to an actual definition of gun control. This is by Webster. The regulation of the sale and use of firearms. Pretty basic.
Yeah.
Pretty basic. And this is like I said, the most simplest definition you're going to get of it, but I don't think it's that simple anymore. So we did some more research, and we have a New York Times article here. Kind of gives a more elaborate definition of it. So we have the regulation of sales and use of firearms, and it says that sometimes the term is also used to cover related matters like limits on types of ammunition, magazines, or technology, like the type that allows guns or firearms only when gripped by their owners. So,
right,
again, complicated because it's one of those things that were put in place before advance of technology,
right.
So that's one of those things,
Yeah, so, something's going on in the chats over there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, just a little back away.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. So let's put it out there, guys. What do you guys think gun control is? Let's get some opinions on it.
Yeah, and definitely. Also, like I say, like I always say in the show is about having an open discussion. So I always add the link to join the discussion. And I think Kyle just lost power to his video feed. So, like I said, I added the link to join the conversation in YouTube, and I also added it on the Facebook page. So if you guys want to join the conversation and give us your opinion, you can do that. You can also join without video, like Kyle is currently right now. You can still be able to. We'll still be able to hear you, and that's the most important thing. That way, your voice can be heard, and we can hear your opinion and hear from your experiences and what your thought is based on what your belief system is. Some people have a religious reason for being for or against gun control, and some people just feel like it's their inalienable right, their constitutionally protected right to bear arms. So they don't think that people should they don't think that the government should be able to infringe on that. So with that said, man, Motivation says that he currently has a gun license. Is that for New York State or is that out of state? I'm curious. And Tracy says, blah, blah. I don't know what that means, but okay. So let me just move on to some of the. Oh, there he goes. He is back. I can see you, Kyle.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
All
can
right.
see.
Sorry about that.
I can hear
Had some
you.
technical difficulties there, but I
It's
heard everything
okay.
you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's our right to bear arms. Then Rick. Then we said that was going to be the first, defense or the first comment after we start talking about gun control. Our right to bear arms,
Right.
which we are going to say the Second Amendment, right?
Right.
Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Should it be amended? Right.
Should it reflect like our current time?
Yes. What do you think?
I was thinking about that, right? And initially I was for like maybe it should, because guns have changed and stuff like that. But for that very reason, maybe it shouldn't be amended because as guns have changed, it's a change for everybody, not just for household owners. Yes, back then they did only have like, gunpowder, manual firearms. But as the guns changed, like, why should the fact that the guns have evolved changed our ability to own them?
Well, because of how it's being used now,
Right.
I think that plays a major role when we use things, So
Right.
should we amend the Second Amendment? I think that we have to remember when and how this came about, right? So let's just I'm gonna bring up a definition or a quick explanation of the Second Amendment, right? So when we're talking about the Second Amendment, this is what we're talking about. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of the free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Gotcha. So that comes with two sides of it, right? So you have the right. So when it's in the free state, we talking about all of the citizens, we have the right to bear arms just to protect ourselves, and our guns should never be taken away.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. That may have worked hundreds of years ago when, where we was less civilized than we are now. I don't think that needs to be the argument for, all right, we have the right to bear arms because of the Second Amendment. That definition, I feel like, is outdated to me. Mm-hmm. Because, when I hear some people talk, and I've had this discussion before, like, oh yeah, just in case we need to protect ourselves from the government. Yeah. So your pistol and your rifle and your shotgun is going to stop the tanks and the Air Force and all this other stuff when they say protect from the government. Is that the argument? I'm just, I just want to know this.
Yeah, I don't think it's one person that's going to do it. It would actually be like, it would probably be a
militia.
Yeah.
A militia. Yeah. But, yeah, okay, I see that. But we've gotten some militias because of those laws, and that's what you and I was talking about earlier today.
Right.
The one that's in the news right now the most is the Proud Boys.
Right.
All have legal firearms.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But look what's going on. Look at the terror that's being rained down because of that.
Right, but I mean, obviously, you have legal firearms, and then there's the legal and illegal use of firearms, right? I think you have laws in Florida which make it a lot more. I guess they obscure that line a little more because if you defend yourself, what's that law in Florida called?
Stand your ground.
Yeah, stand your ground, right? It's like you get to articulate your side of the story, right? That's easy. It's easy, right? The guy who you killed, not so much.
Yeah.
In New York, it's a little tougher than that.
Tougher what?
New York is a little bit tougher than that,
Oh yeah. And I'm just not. I'm really not against having the right to have a firearm. Like I said, depending on where you live, like if you live in one of those states or areas that if you call the police is not getting there for another 30 minutes, you might want to get yourself a firearm. However, if you live in a populated area where you call the police and their response time is less than 2 minutes, not saying that 2 minutes is not crucial. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that at all.
That's what I was going to say next.
But I do think that needs to be taken into consideration. I don't see the need, and we're going to talk about this later. I don't see the need for the high capacity magazines. I don't see the need for those.
There was a situation in the news where this woman was home alone with her kids, and there was someone trying to break into her home.
Mm-hmm.
She had a shotgun, I believe, right? And she called 911 and she explained to them what was going on right now. And she was asking, can I shoot them? Right? They're gonna break in. They're gonna break in. They're gonna break in soon. And they pretty much gave her the green light. They said, you do what you have to do to protect your family.
Mm-hmm.
And she shot them dead cold once they got through the door.
Interesting. That's in Florida, right?
No, I don't. I can't remember where it was. I don't think it
Mm.
was Florida. But if we look it up, it's a pretty popular story. But could you imagine if she didn't have the ability to protect herself? She was on the phone with 911, but like they would not have been able to get there in time. There was no way. The guys are right there, right then and there, and that's a situation. I mean, it's rare, but it does happen. And in that situation, it definitely saved her life.
Yeah, I get it. Like I said, I'm not totally opposed of it. I don't think
Right.
you can be yes or no. It's just way too complicated of an issue to say, all right, I'm yes or I'm no for something. Um, but I do think we need to keep in mind when we are given these rights to bear arms that there's always going to be those who shouldn't have the right that get it, just off the bat legally, you know.
I'll put up a question real quick that I think ties into this.
But we was discussing earlier today, you and I, right? We was talking about the organizations who are known, right, for the use of firearm or the appeal of firearm. And this is going to be a really bad comparison,
right?
But we just had to kind of show the different two sides of it, right? Mm-hmm. So we have the Black Panthers versus the Proud Boys, taken to the streets with legal firearms. So what do you think about that? We got two totally different sides of it. Well, it may not be, to certain people, it may not be two totally different sides of it, but what do you think about it?
I mean, obviously, the Proud Boys are just 100% bad news. They're not good people outright, and they know they're not good people. They actually, they what's the word I'm looking for? They promote violence. They promote, attacking people and being violent. They're outright about it. They're not shy about it. That's their motive. That's what they do. If they're politically driven and they have their own views, if I'm not mistaken, if someone else knows more, but from the little bit that I know, they are a violent group of people who look to promote violence and destruction and mayhem. So, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Black Panthers, for the most part, are put together to protect the community. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not.
More so to protect, and also did much more community service than they get credit for as well. Methods could be questioned or whatever on both sides. But that's it right there. So we have two different groups. One,
we're both having a legal right to
both having a legal right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but some would say a lot of the little gun control laws that we have now are a result of the Black Panthers. The fact that any kind of change that has been made to the law is as a result of the Black Panthers being able and having the accessibility to get these weapons.
Really?
Yes. It's a documentary on PBS, I would say. And It would say that how after the Black Panthers and their era, what changes were made to the law. And that's that theory and that myth, like you said earlier, or myth, or maybe not, of how it's harder for different people to get weapons than others.
Right. So I'm not sure. Where did the Black Panthers predominantly operate from? Were they global, or were they national? Was that a specific state?
It was more of a national thing. Okay. Yeah. But definitely a West Coast thing.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do we need stricter? Do you think we need stricter laws?
I think we would. I personally think that we should probably have stricter penalties for illegal use of firearms. Right? You have legal firearms, right? But then the illegal use of those firearms. I think if you put more stricter penalties on these people, then what are the chances that they commit these crimes? If I'm gonna commit a crime with a firearm, right? you're gonna have the penalties at the back of your head, and then you're gonna gauge whether it's worth it, right? If I
Mhm.
get caught with this, maybe I do a year or two. That's risk reward, right?
Mhm.
Now, if you tell somebody they're gonna get life for committing that same crime with the firearm illegally, maybe it veers them away from making those crazy decisions. When people start getting life sentences for these crimes, maybe it changes things a little bit.
That's interesting because it's like I said, for me, it's always I can't say a yes or no to it. It's just too complex. Where is this happening?
Mhm.
Um, Now, do I think that store owners should be have a right? Yes, they should have a right to, and most of them do have a firearm, right?
What about
Uh,
teachers?
Say it again.
What about teachers in the wake of mass shootings?
I think
How do you
that's a
feel
bad
about
idea.
teachers?
You don't want to bring guns into schools. I think that's
Mhm.
a bad idea. You don't want to bring guns. You should have officers there who are armed, but I don't think giving teachers, especially in Florida, who love to have sex with their students, I don't think you should
Oh
give them.
wow.
I don't think you should give them the right to have firearms.
Well,
Having firearms in schools with a bunch of kids just seemed like a bad idea to me.
okay, so let's say with in the situation with those mass shootings inside the schools, like the Columbines and all that stuff, do you
Yeah.
think it would have been beneficial in those particular situations where there have been potential to save lives if the teachers had firearms when these people were going classroom to classroom and just murdering these innocent students?
There, you know what? There was, and I think that of course, if you introduce another firearm into this, if you introduce someone who can protect themselves into the situation, of course, that I think that would help. But there's always another side of that. You have these. What if you have a teacher who is not mentally fit to carry a firearm, and
Right.
then we have a mass shooting inside of a classroom? Where we have a teacher who decided, all right, today I'm going to take the lives of my entire class. I just think adding a gun into a school setting is not a good idea. If you really want to fix this, you put officers there who are there to protect the school, and you kind of redo the school, the layouts of school,
I
who
agree.
are ready.
We definitely got some engagement with this, especially let's put some of these responses.
Yeah. It
Um,
was a. I'm sorry. I just want to make this last one. There was a million. I forgot
okay.
his name. I forgot what he was, and I watched it on a documentary. He was saying that if he was given a contract, he could revamp all the schools in the country to be prepared for an attack of a mass shooting.
Right.
And he wanted some kind of defense contract or something like that he didn't get or whatever. But it was he had an example of a school, and he was saying that, hey, these are the kind of doors that we would need where the school kind of goes on shutdown.
I think they talked about
And
training teachers also, right?
he was talking about training teachers, but he also wanted to have a safety officer inside the school. Um, that's in an area where he's not so much interacting. He or she's not interacting with kids.
Okay.
In the settings of kids. So I look at it like this, Rick. We've changed school buildings to deal with in the case of a bomb and stuff like that. Some of our schools have the shelter sign, and just to go in here outside the school, just go outside the classroom and be by a certain wall, and just in case of a bomb and something like that. Why can't we make that change towards something that's a more recent threat, which is mass shootings, apparently?
Right. So
Yeah.
some people with opinions on that was saying they think that there should just be more security guards. Showcast agrees with you. She says Cal shouldn't be allowed to have firearms in the school. And we talked on just a little bit. They say teachers are not trained for that, but you touched on the gentleman who was talking about training the teachers and creating
Yeah.
some kind of task force to deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Show also touches on the fact that if they had more school guards, then it might help, but those guards would have to be armed, and usually they would have somebody like a police officer in one of the tougher schools.
Yeah. I don't see the issue with giving school safety firearms.
Right.
I don't see the issue with it. Those at least those guys and gals went through a training of some kind of sort of law enforcement. And if you want to do something, you start there. I think giving teachers is a bad idea. I just think that's like a terrible idea. Because I know some teacher friends, and I'm like, please don't ever get a firearm. Let them know don't let them teach their kids with firearm
Right.
too. Oh my god.
No,
You
but
know,
like we were saying about giving like these safety officers a firearm, I think that has to do with, they're gonna be budget issues, and you already know that when it comes to education, they're getting budget cuts like crazy, so it makes it a little more difficult. So I mean, I guess changing some laws is something that could be is something to explore. I mean, I don't know how comfortable I would feel knowing that my son is in a class where there is a live firearm. So I guess
yeah.
it's a thought.
Thought, So we have these mass shootings at schools, right? Because
Mhm.
I just want to touch on that, right? Because let's talk about that, right? As far as mass shootings,
Right.
should for those mass shootings that had taken place in schools, right? Should
Mhm.
those parents be responsible?
I think that's interesting. Should the parents be responsible for the children for their kids who commit these crimes? It's interesting because you only have so much control as a parent, right? You have a short window to influence your kids, right? After that, they're influenced by their friends and their environment, and they become their own people. You should know. You was a kid at one point. There was a
Yeah.
point where we thought, you know, our parents didn't know what the hell they were talking about. We knew everything, right? We knew what was best for us, right?
Yeah.
There gets that point where there's, that separation where we think we know everything.
Yeah. So to answer the question, is that a yes or is that a maybe?
It's tough. It's tough, man. It's tough because I would hate to have to be responsible for something that my kid did, possibly having a condition, or possibly maybe he's just a bad kid. Who knows? Should I be if I did everything in my power to raise him right, and he still went astray, or maybe he had a condition that went undiagnosed? Should that be if I did everything, documented, I took him to these things, and how did he get the firearm? Am I responsible for
And
how he purchased it?
that's the thing now. If some of these people, like you're going to talk about later on, some of these kids are not even legal age to purchase firearms. So if a parent has a legal firearm, if I'm sorry, let me clarify. Should parents be responsible if a legal firearm is used in a mass shooting that they own?
Right. I mean, I guess
Because
it
that means
depends.
they wasn't protecting it.
Right.
It
It depends. What I mean, if you safeguard it, right, and the kid is, let's say he's 17 years old, right? I mean, we were all, mischievous, and we was all curious about the most dangerous things, right? And we've all done dumb shit in our lives where we're just like,
Still do it.
So, so what's to stop us from, taking advantage of our parents not being home, knowing where the firearm is, and getting our hands on it and doing dumb things?
That's a good point, Rick. I mean, but it has to be some accountability. If you have a firearm is a tool that can take a life and also protect a life. You have that. You should be held to the accountable where that firearm is. A cop cannot lose his firearm.
Oh,
A cop.
What do you mean he cannot lose his firearm?
He cannot lose his firearm. What if he loses firearm? You don't think he's going to face face? I'm not going to say criminal, but face discipline. Disciplinary actions.
Absolutely.
So you can't lose you can't not know where your firearm is. I think in Japan, what they do in Japan, which is, I know you're going to touch on other countries and how they do things, but what they do in Japan is, I find interesting, is that they have every year someone who owns a firearm, the government sends someone out there to do like an evaluation of them and see where they safekeep it and stuff like that. So it's like an annual check that they have to go through. And if it's it's a psych and it's a physical check of the firearm and where it's being kept at. I think that's a great idea that we should implement here. That if I do an evaluation on you and I don't see that you seem fit to carry this firearm, we should be able to take your guns away. No?
How do you regulate it though?
You send somebody you get agents. You send somebody every year. But no,
kind of like a social worker.
Kind of like a social worker.
Okay.
I mean, listen. What do we have to lose? What's the worst that can come out of that?
I mean, we
take some guns from some people.
Yeah, not to veer off the subject too much, but when it comes to that kind of stuff, you've seen how social work, they can let shit slip through the cracks. It's not foolproof.
Yeah, no, not foolproof, but it would. I think anything is better than nothing. Yeah, at this point. So.
Yeah, I mean, it should definitely have some. You shouldn't just give it. Somebody shouldn't be able to just go into a gun shop and say, "Let me get that firearm." Okay, Here's a receipt.
Yeah.
It should never be that simple, right? And I think every firearm should be registered. Absolutely. You want to know what firearm is doing what, where.
Can we talk about Virginia, which I would definitely never move to now after hearing some of the stuff?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So this is from Virginia.gov. They're talking about, it's frequently asked questions. It's their basic main page, right? And one of the questions on the website says, are firearms registered in Virginia? And it says, with the exception of machine guns and firearms, with the exception of machine guns, firearms are not registered in Virginia.
That's
So,
wild to me.
yeah.
The Wild Wild West.
Yeah, so and here's another thing, right? It says, what is the legal age to purchase or possess a firearm in Virginia? And it says a person must be at least 18 years of age to purchase a rifle or a shotgun from a licensed firearms dealer. To purchase a handgun from a licensed firearm dealer, you must be at least 21 years of age, pursuant to federal law.
So you got to be 18
to have a shotgun or a rifle, but to have a handgun, you need to be 21.
Okay. So you're not able to drink, right?
Right.
But you can carry a firearm.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
Oh,
yep.
Okay, cool. Virginia, right?
Yeah, it's Virginia.
Okay, yeah, cool. So yeah, let's take that off the list of where to go next. Where to move
Places
next.
to visit. It makes you think about how tough you are, right? Next time you want to get in someone's face and you're from New York and you're not used to carrying a firearm on you, the most punk person in Virginia got your card.
Yo,
what you said?
I went to go visit my friend down south, and I forgot it was out of one of the Carolinas. And we went to a Best Buy. We was going to a Best Buy to buy something, and it was saying, "Please, no firearms inside." Yo, that bugged me all the way out, man. I'm like, wait, you gotta have signs that say no firearms inside. But then I realized exactly where I am. I'm in, down south where you get a firearm at a Walmart.
That is crazy. And are they checking for your age? I guess so. You have to be 18. What if you just look really old? Yeah, because I don't know. It's crazy. Anyway, we have Ashley. Are you ready to join us, or are you still eating?
It looks like she's eating. She's not ready to go.
You ready to go? We can't hear you. Give me a sign. Yes. Give me a thumbs up. You ready? Going? I can't see a thumb.
She's off screen. That's off screen.
There you go. All right, there you go. All right, cool. All right, welcome, Ashley, everybody.
Hey, y'all. Sorry,
Hey,
I'm gonna tear up this soup because we're in a blizzard. So he got his tea. I got my soup.
There you go.
This is serious. I had to chime in. I'm actually in class right now, and I have a thing at 9. But I had to jump in. Kyle, everything you said was 100%. I think my thing on the gun laws is that it's not fair, right? So the rights I don't feel stand for people as color, and I wouldn't even feel comfortable with people as color like arming themselves, because when we're pulled over, even when we say that we legally can have this firearm, we're shot down. We're reaching for our license and being shot at. So imagine how many more people of color would die if we legally loosened up the gun laws. And another thing is, if your child is driving your car, if anybody's driving your car actually, and they get into a car accident, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who gets sued?
You do.
The owner of the vehicle.
The owner of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So the owner of the gun, I don't even care if Tyrone lets you use his gun to intimidate somebody at the high school. Tyrone should also maybe do 2 years probation or something, and also be sued, right? I think mental health laws need to be in place, period. Anyone that has mental health issues, and I think when you register for a gun, if a parent has a child that's unstable, that should be notified, and the school should be notified that that parent is a legal gun carrier. And the school, the public doesn't need to know, but the school officials should know, especially if they could report that the child has behavior issues or if they notice something is off. So if Dylan and the other kid from Columbine, they knew they were being bullied. If the school officials knew that the mama had a whole arsenal and he was disconnected, maybe they would have paid attention. Like, yo, we gotta keep our eyes on Dylan.
I like what you're saying because if the school would like if there's some kind of protocol set in place, like if a student is having issues and they're being monitored or they seeking help, I think this should trigger something that there should be a system in place where to find out whether these parents own a firearm. And I love that idea, and potentially remove the firearm from the household until they seek care for that child, and he's taken care of and that he's stable. That's I personally, that's a great idea. It sucks for the gun owners because obviously, if you're a gun owner, you're passionate about that stuff. Especially if you're collecting this stuff, it's a passion of yours. So they're effectively taking away your hobby. But I think it's a responsible thing to do.
Like, people don't notice. As a registered gun owner, uh, my uncle passed away, and when we
Mm.
went to the house, he died in the house, but he died naturally.
Okay,
Um,
sorry to hear that.
it's okay. He was a great man. Lived a long life, up to 70. Was like jogging a five
God
mile
bless
stretch.
him.
He was
God bless
long.
him.
Didn't crack. He looked like he was 45. But when
Nice.
he passed away, I think he was 80 or 70 something. When he passed away, the amount of red tape to get the coroner to take his body to the morgue. I mean, not well, to the funeral home. The amount we had to wait hours because the lead detective had to come and survey where his gun, because he was a registered gun owner. So they
Mm.
had to find the gun. The thing is, none of us knew the codes to the safe, and my cousins were in Georgia. So it took 4 hours. His body was in there in the middle of August in the
Oh man.
Oh
summertime.
my God.
Well, I mean, they it's law. We had to wait till they cleared the premises. They found and retrieved the gun. And my cousin, when he came back from Atlanta, had to go sign some papers and take the gun over, and then register himself to as taking over the gun. But you do all this red tape for someone who's gone, but you don't do nothing. I could go to Mineola right now. I used to go buy my pepper spray.
Hey,
I gotta register for my pepper. You have to register. They
yes, you do. I was wondering, are you registered, young lady? Are you registered?
I'm registered. It's expired.
Okay.
I need some more. But like Kyle is saying, there are other places. Y'all gun fanatics, you can have your guns, right? But
Mm,
one, it has to be for you equality. I can't be gunned down because I decided I want to protect my neighborhood, right?
mm.
Two, there has to be a better way of serialing these numbers on the guns, because it's not, how are these guns getting here if it's not through the big wigs? They
Yeah.
letting them come into the hood. They're
Yeah.
letting
I
them
have
go
no
into
idea. Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Where are they coming from? So I think the system has to do a better job of tracking it. You give so
What
much red
about
tape for
what about places like Virginia though, where they don't register the guns? It doesn't matter.
it's horrible because you have a lot of
It's
vets. You
unbelievable.
have a lot of vet. Look at all the history of the cop killers, the top cop killers that lost their minds. The one with the manifesto, right? He
Hmm.
was
Mm.
a former Marine, bruh. He
Yeah.
served his country,
And a
right?
lot of them have PTSD.
Yeah.
Didn't get no help. They could barely get help for. You go to the VA. I took my father to the VA. It took 6 hours.
Yeah,
6 hours
absolutely.
for them to tell them that they can't get his medicine. He's gonna have to go to another VA, which was 4 hours out of the way, to get his medicine because he was with me taking care of my grandmother who just has heart surgery. But he needed his medicine, right?
So are you saying that they shouldn't have firearms and they people like that because they have
No,
PTSD?
it should be red tape, and it should be a requirement. Like, when you go to the DMV, right? You got to
Mm.
take a defensive class, right? So psychologists are mandatory reporters. Like, they're not going to spell your business, but they'll let people know like there's something going on here. So they
Right.
monitor it, right? When they go to the VA, they monitor that like this person's having, some problems. So it should be red flagged that we know, okay, something's not right. And then if that person's like, going off the grid, sending not necessarily a cop. I think the police department needs to have counselors. Just the
We
people,
talked about that.
just to do a
Yeah.
survey, see how they live in. You own a
All right.
gun. Let's make sure this ain't a trap house. Let's make sure there's no kids in the basement. Let's make sure that your children are stable. Just there needs to be some more of accountability because too many people are dying and suicide is on an all-time high. If you know someone is struggling during the holiday season and they just bought a gun and it's New Year's Eve, like I mean, there should be like there's an alert if I go to the library and take out what's the book? To Kill a Mockingbird. They
Right.
monitor you monitor stupid stuff. You monitor my face recognition on Facebook is the same that they use at the Walmart security, right?
Mhm.
So they're already monitoring me. Monitor the right stuff so that we can peep, Dylan Roof at a church on a civil,
Yeah.
Definitely. Yep.
I'm
All right.
sorry.
Thank you so much. No, it's
I'm
okay.
passionate.
No, we
No,
appreciate. That's what we want. That's what we want. We
appreciate it,
appreciate the
Ashley.
passion, man.
I'm gonna sit down and shut up now.
No, no.
Love you guys.
Enjoy it too, man. We love you too. All right.
Some good points, some great points actually, and that's what I wanted to. I kind of slipped my mind. The case you were talking about, right? There's another side of that case, with the woman who defended her kids.
Yeah.
You remember the woman of color? She was actually black. Mm-hmm. Her boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend, was coming in, and they had a domestic history, or whatever. He came in, and she shot two warning shots in the air, to kind of deter him from coming in the apartment. She got time for that. She got time.
The warning shots?
Yeah, she got time for those 2 warning shots.
What was the crime? Do you know?
Reckless endangerment.
Reckless endangerment. Was she in an apartment building or
I
her own home?
I'm not sure if she was in an apartment building or her own home, but she got time for those shots, and she was trying to do it based off of the stand my ground.
Right, and that was in Florida.
Yeah, of course it was in Florida.
Yeah, it might have been in the house. So I don't understand how that's reckless endangerment. If it's in your own home, if you're not endangering anyone else, it's like if it's over your head. It's like, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on that law. I have no idea. If anyone else knows, I'm not sure. If you guys have experience in Florida, I have no idea.
And the other point where Ashley was talking about with the people of color, I understand what she was saying when she was saying, I am afraid for people of color to start getting these firearms because then it would kind of be like it could lead to more shootings, right? I felt threatened because I know this person had a firearm on them. We discussed this at the police brutality chat. I forgot his name. I keep on forgetting the gentleman's name who had a firearm in the car with his kids. And he told him I have a legal firearm, and they shot him. He was in the passenger seat.
Wow.
I forgot the guy's name. I feel terrible for forgetting it.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I think there will be a double standard. Tamar Rice is a prime example of this double standard. In Ohio, where it's legal to have a firearm, the cops jumped out on a 12-year-old kid who they thought was a firearm, and they shot him instantly. Mm. If it's legal to have a firearm and he's in the area by himself, why are you, as soon as you're getting out the point, shooting? That's, again, I think it would be a double standard, and that is something to take in consideration.
That's tough. That's definitely tough.
Yeah,
it's like even with all the body cams and everything. Yeah. I mean, maybe those body cams should be on 24 hours.
Well, who knows, bro? That's a whole nother topic, and let's get back to the topic at hand, which is should parents be responsible? We all said that we don't know. What about the gun companies? Should the gun companies be responsible?
Oh, that's interesting, man. That's very, very interesting. I was actually watching a show with what's it called? Raymond Reddington. I forget the name of the show.
Man, The Blacklist. That's it.
Yeah, the Blacklist.
Yeah. I know exactly what episode you're talking about too.
Yeah, exactly. Where the gun, they were making the cheaper version of a handgun, and they were selling it, at shows, and they weren't worried. They had all the signs of not selling it to someone because they were selling it, and someone kept coming back and buying mass quantity. That should have raised the red flag. So, if they're doing things like that, then they absolutely should be held responsible for certain things because they're not they're just concerned. I mean, granted, if you're a company, your main concern is profits, right? unless you're a non-for-profit. So,
Well, I mean,
that's
yeah.
where that morality line gets blurred. It's like, it's all about the Benjamin, so to speak. It's all about making the most money you can make, regardless of the outcome or potential. They're not concerned of what's happening when these people got the gun. They're concerned with volume. How many more guns can we sell this quarter?
Yeah, and fitting Raymond Reddington got the last word on that one. I love that show anyway. But it's a good point, right? Because this is what happened at the gun shows. You have a gun company who's able to say, all right, this person came back last week and bought six pistols. Why do you need another 6 pistols if you're not a store buy, like a business to business sale? If you're buying for personal use, exactly.
You can say you're an online company.
You should not be able to buy a weapon at a gun show. I'm sorry, without doing proper background check and everything else, man.
Oh, it should definitely be heavily regulated. There should definitely be some kind of enforcers at the site. I think each station should have someone monitoring how the sales are going. There should always be a bill of sales. Everything, like guns across the country, should be registered and tracked. My personal opinion. The idea that in Virginia you buy a gun, it's yours. They don't know where it's going or what happens to it. That's kind of crazy.
It's irresponsible. I'm sorry, Rick.
I would just say I want to see what the crime rate is in Virginia. Does that work to their benefit or against it? I'm curious about that. What were you gonna say?
It's irresponsible and it sets a precedent across the country, because I can go to Virginia and buy a firearm and bring it into my state without.
I'm not sure. Is it that simple? I said, is it that simple?
Based off what you're saying, that if it doesn't need to be, if there's no tracker and if it doesn't need to be registered, I can buy a firearm in Virginia.
Yeah, but you would have to be a Virginia native.
Okay. Still, I can buy a firearm.
Oh, your friend that lives in Virginia can buy a firearm.
Buy me a firearm and just give it to me, and it's not registered.
Right.
So that gun came from the gun that's in Brownsville right now came from Virginia.
Right.
It's a slippery slope, man.
Yeah, example. That's an example. There was no gun in Brownsville.
I'm just saying. Yeah, man. I don't know, man. So we was discussing types of guns. Didn't you say you had some numbers on or some research on the technology as far as guns go and what's legal, what's not legal?
Yeah. Before I get to that, I want to hit some of these comments up that we're talking about in reference to gun companies and whether they should be, held responsible. And Show makes a good point. She agrees with us for the most part. She says she feels like with any other company, they're just trying to make money. Okay, that's cool. Exactly, money's their main concern. And was there any other points that? And that's pretty much it. And thank you guys for your participation. Appreciate that. Yeah. All right. Getting a gun in Virginia was very simple in the 90s when you think all these rappers, ex-drug dealers were getting their guns. All right. Has it changed since the 90s? I'm not sure.
You can buy it online now. It comes on Amazon now, from Amazon.
That's crazy. The only places that New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey for the most part are one of the strictest places where you can't even buy like BB guns online.
Yeah. When I was trying to buy a prop gun for a thing, and they would not ship it. No. They would not ship it to New York.
And this is a prop gun.
This is a prop gun, yeah. They wouldn't ship it to New York. So
that shit ain't gonna hurt nobody legit.
Yeah. And it's so that's a good segue. Do you think Hollywood should bear some responsibility here?
In reference to what? I'm hugely against that. I'm hugely against people using media, multimedia as a platform to push a political issue, because quite frankly, I've played violent video games my whole life, right? Mm-hmm. I've watched violent movies. I like movies like John Wick, and I have never committed, a violent crime. I've never been inspired to. I've never been motivated to. So, to my personal opinion, I think it's crazy that they try to blame people. Like, when it comes to creating content, right? When you're creating entertainment, right? Should you be thinking about, damn, this is a dope storyline, but what if somebody misconstrues it and think this is a great idea? I think in that respect, it could be dangerous, right? Giving people ideas, because that's where I believe that, oh, shit.
What do you think they get these ideas from? I'm not gonna say all of them, but
Right.
I just want to touch on it. You are a sane person. Well, appear to be a sane person, right? So you appear to be a sane person, and that's your mentality. But what about those? What about that 17-year-old kid who, oh, I want to be John Wick now, and I want to be John Wick at school? Like it's. I'm not trying to blame John Wick at all, because all their intent was just to make a good movie, in which they have made 3 of them. But I do think that's, it's mental health. It needs to be some kind of regulation. There's definitely a concern or a parallel concern with mental health and gun control. They need to start to pair them together.
Right. But how to go about doing that? I think that's the struggle right there. It's like, where do you start? Where do you begin? And how do you implement it? Right.
I mean, if Netflix knows how many shows you're watching on their TVs and on their accounts now, right? We can figure out gun control. I mean, just put it like that. I mean, it's that simple. If we put the energy to do something, we can figure it out, because we regulate everything else. We know the DMV knows what my registration is about to enter my car. They send me a notice. They tell me I have to get it inspected every year. Well, in New York, you have to get your car inspected every year.
Yeah, but mental illness is something that you don't necessarily know someone's going through.
That's true.
That's something that sometimes you find out the hard way.
Yeah. What do you think about as far as social media? Do they hold some responsibility as well? If you see a person posting guns and making threats and constantly have pictures with guns, should that be a red flag?
I think it is. I think police are actually monitoring that kind of stuff. I've heard many stories where people post a picture of a firearm. Cops are knocking on their door and they're like, "What the hell happened?" Yeah, we saw that firearm you posted. Do you have a license and registration for that firearm? We don't have a firearm. Well, this video by
Oh, it was fake one. No, I'm not buying it.
Yeah. Okay. Now we have a registration. Now we have a permit to enter your home and search.
I mean, people. The problem is I think, in my opinion, the issue with this country is that we are so caught up on these guns. This is an American culture thing. Guns. We see it in our music. We hear it in our music. We see it in our movies. We love it in our video games. It's just, laser tag is amazing. Paintball is fun. So all of this stuff is guns are just so part of American culture, and the fact that people want to start regulating it scares a lot of people,
right?
Because what do you really need a high capacity assault rifle? What do you need it for? You're not hunting, you're not hunting deer. I mean, are you trying to kill all the deer?
Have you seen Red Dawn?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. That is a extreme situation, by the way.
Right, absolutely.
That's what we have the defense department for, but
they completely bypassed, and there was no defense for that.
Yeah, I get you. Red Dawn is the one with Chris Hemsworth, right? Just making sure
Yeah, that's the remake for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So yeah, but I've also seen Independence Day. Same argument. Aliens come in and same argument.
But our firearms aren't doing anything against lasers. Come on, you got photon cannons versus a bullet.
Well, all right. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know, bro. It's like I said, it's a very complex topic. I know you brought up something about Switzerland in our pre-production.
Right. Before we hit to that, I want to hear some of these comments. She says, and you were saying earlier, can we get GPS on these guns? Maybe like we do on phones. The problem with that, it sounds like a good idea, but we're too smart. We know how to disable that kind of stuff. It's too easy. It's too easy to disable something like that we do it on our phones. We do it on our computers.
I'm not opposed to that.
But I don't think it's a foolproof plan, because, like I said, the same way we can disable it on our phones, our laptops, and everything else, we'll be able to disable it on the gun. So it'll tell you the last known location, but not when I shot this dude 50 miles away or whatever.
Just to ask a question, is anybody in the mental health field? I know at one point, and I could be saying this all wrong, I just want to make sure, just to put out there. At one point, I know that there wasn't even allowed to be studied the mental health of mass shooters, or something in that form, that you couldn't the mental health I guess we would say doctors and psychologists weren't allowed. There wasn't actually like a scientific correlation, or they weren't allowed to study the correlation between mental health and mass shooters because of the NRA or something like that. I just want to know if anybody has anything on that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, just in case, because I know there was some kind of correlation there of how the NRA blocked the study of mass shooters or dealing with guns or something like that. Yeah. Right. So, which was from globally, right?
Right. Right. But let me see. Fernando Jacquez wants to say something here. It says, when we continue to push responsibility on others, such as social media, gun companies, video games, and movies, we move away from making the individual accountable for their own actions. I
agree 100%.
I love that. That's said. That's perfectly said.
Exactly.
Yeah, and quite frankly, I don't like the idea of restricting someone's creative ability as far as movies and video games are concerned, because that's going to be impossible to create something that's going to be universally accepted by everyone. It's impossible.
That's fair enough. I'm just throwing it out there, though. But I do think there needs to be some type of red flag system on social media, because a lot of the time we've seen that. Well, not a lot of time. We've seen in certain situations where the shooter has actually posted about what they're going to do on social media.
No, in that regard, no. Yeah, I don't think what he said applies to that.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying, right. Do we hold them accountable if they don't report that?
If who doesn't report it?
If social media doesn't flag that, because during the protest, when I was trying to post some of my pictures, I wasn't allowed to post certain pictures that I took at the protest. It was flagged by social media.
That's interesting.
By Instagram in particular. So if you're watching my photos about someone with a sign or something like that, right. You could at least be watching the people with the guns and the "today's a good day to shoot somebody" type of tweets or Instagram posts.
Right. Yeah, and that's a big controversy with social media. Anyway, I think Mark Zuckerberg is going through it right now. They're talking about about if his bans on certain things is politically driven. If it's just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So I guess, I'm going to move on to the Switzerland thing, because I think it's important. Yeah. So Switzerland, right, is probably, it is, as far as, the research says, it's one of the safest places in the world, and it has the highest gun ownership rate relatively in the world. So that's pretty interesting. Let me see. It said back in 2010, what it says that in Switzerland, all men between the ages of 18 and 34 deemed fit for service are given a pistol or a rifle and trained.
Interesting.
And Switzerland is one of the most beautiful and most safest places in the world. Have great education, great economy, stable economy, which attributes to the low crime rate and all this other stuff. So my question to that is, should Switzerland be the gold standard for, what gun laws should be and how to go about, when it comes to gun laws? Because I think that's probably one of the most perfect examples of how to, monitor, regulate, distribute guns to the public and, still maintain. I mean,
never work out. Guns are a part of our society, bro. I mean, it's my opinion. Bro. Guns are too much. Right. It's too American. Like apple pie and baseball, bro. It's too.
No, but they're giving it to you. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know if you missed what I said, but I'll say it again really quick. What they're saying is that all men between the ages of 18 and 34 deemed fit for service are given a pistol or a rifle and trained in Switzerland.
Gotcha.
Like they give it to you. Like it's like if I'm not that correctly, yeah.
Okay, I think still.
No, and this is actually correct. That automatic weapons are banned in that country. That's the one caveat. But
that's a major thing.
Yeah,
I agree with you saying though. That could be a way to do it. But I think does that take us back to the vaccine question? Right. Do we need to? I'm sorry, we talked about this yesterday. The other day. Right. If vaccines wasn't mandatory, would people take them? And I think that's the same thing here. If I'm going to regulate what kind of gun you can have, is that going to be a problem for you? Because I think as Americans, when we hear mandated or mandatory or regulated, we have a problem. We initially have a problem no matter what, because we always go to that thing that it violates our freedom of whatever. So I don't know, man.
That's definitely interesting, man.
It's a definitely interesting, thing with the Switzerland. I don't know if it would work here.
We'll never know if we don't try.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of solutions, but I don't think we're ever going to get to any of them. I don't think that we're going to reformat schools to deal with active shooters. I don't see this moving in any direction. After Sandy Hook, and there was nothing passed to help gun control when all of those kids were killed, I kind of lost hope, and that's just me.
Right.
If you could see a whole bunch of kids get gunned down and not want to do anything about it, you really don't care about. There's nothing else that can happen that you want to change.
Yeah, I agree, man. So we have reached our hour for the day. I want to get to some of these comments and then close it off. So we're gonna go to what is it? We'll go with what is it? We had all right, Eddie. He says, how about putting a print scanner, like a fingerprint scanner, like in the phones? That's interesting. That's a way to track it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I guess it's like with children. The more you tell them no, the more they want to do it.
Exactly.
What else we got here? Showcase says, I feel like automatic weapons don't have to be a household item.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
But then you have the gun enthusiast that tells why should I be limited to what type of guns I have? So you have that that battle.
So question, which two states was that again where automatic weapons are not banned?
Are not banned?
Yeah. Assault rifles. Was it assault rifles or was that Minnesota and Virginia that we were talking about earlier, where they are allowed to have assault rifles? I believe so. I can double check.
Yeah, you can double check. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, it makes it interesting.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. So I want to.
We didn't get to a lot of topics that we wanted to, but I think we may have to.
We'll definitely do a part 2 to this next week. So if there's any more part of the conversation that you guys want to, bring to the table, let us know at the Facebook group. You guys have been working over there. But yeah, join us tomorrow, man, because just as many of you guys that wanted to talk about gun control, just as many of you guys wanted to talk about child support. So tomorrow we'll definitely be talking about child support, which is definitely going to be another deep conversation, man.
Really?
Oh yeah, man. Child support is huge, man. It's a big thing. Talk about how people use. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay, because I have no experience with child support, so
none?
I don't know. No, why would I? I don't have any kids.
You don't have friends with kids?
I have friends. I have a few friends with kids, and you know what? Actually, I do have some opinion on it. Now I'm thinking about it. Oh, somebody's buying a gun tomorrow. Great.
Oh wow! She's in Florida too. She's in Florida. I want to see pictures.
You want to see pictures? Oh my God!
Great
Definitely
show.
not going.
Thank you so much, Fernando. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for stopping by. You always have great info, man. I always talk to this guy when I have like really deep thoughts, and he has definitely helped me make some decisions. And in my political maneuvering.
He gives me the professor vibe. Like
yeah, he's
professor type vibe.
He's a good guy. He's unbiased and he comes at you with facts. I'd love to have him on the show one day. So whenever you're ready, brother, when you have a topic that you want to delve into, head first, let me know. I'd love to have you. So yeah, thank you guys so much. And again, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and commenting and liking our shows. And if you ever want to be a part of the show, we always add the link to join us. So with that said, you guys have a fantastic evening. I got to get through this snow that we're having and get my ass to work tonight. So it's going to be fun trails.
Nice. I'm going to be drinking some hot chocolate.
Yeah, you enjoy. Okay, you enjoy. All right. All right. So with that said, you guys have a fantastic evening. I will see you tomorrow, and we'll be talking about child support, man, and everything that it entails.
And promotional Thursdays.
Oh yeah, tomorrow is Promo Thursday. Be here for Promo Thursday because we're gonna have some interesting things. Kyle's gonna have something for you. I'm gonna have something for you, and we're gonna have some stuff. So be here for tomorrow. There's gonna be some interesting stuff. If you want to give them a tease of what they might be seeing tomorrow, tell them. I said don't show them, but tell them what they might be getting a little piece of tomorrow.
Tomorrow we will be discussing in Promotional Thursday segment. We'll be talking about my latest film that I just finished production with and shot and edit. And I think that's pretty much what we're gonna be talking about tomorrow with that.
We might have a teaser for you guys if you guys can fill up.
Very unlikely.
Images,
something, an image, yeah.
Something. All right, cool.
And what you got tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'm going to be showing you guys on a project that I've been working on called House Rules. So nice. It's a project that I was involved in. It's a little bit of it's going to be a little bit of fun. I can't wait to talk about it. And there's going to be some other topics that we'll be talking about. So definitely be here for Promo Thursday, where after Promo Thursday, we'll continue with discussion of child support. So again, thank you guys for your participation, man. You guys are the reason this thing works. It does not work without you. We appreciate you guys. This is an open platform for discussion, man. We don't always have to agree, but damn it, we should always definitely talk, man. With that said, you guys have a fantastic evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.